United Airlines customer service representative last night on the flight. She was so sweet. But she's that first person. She's the person that gets the first hit. And I said, boy, I bet you see a lot of upset people. And she was so sweet about it. She goes, they're just scared. She said they got someplace they gotta be. She said last month the Chicago fire? Or just last month the Chicago fire, there was a mom and 3 daughters from all points of the United States trying to get to a get-together in France. And it just wasn't gonna happen. Fortunately, there were some leeways given because of the fire, so she was able to do some creative routing to make it happen. I mean, they had to fly the whole globe to get there, but they were able to get there. See, United, that was great because that helps us to get loyal customers, but the family of 4, the 3 daughters and the mom, could care less about your profits. They really don't care. So if we just make it about our profits, in the long run, we won't connect with our customers because our customers don't care about our profits. The reason why United exists is because people are needing to get somewhere for business, for pleasure, to just have fun, because someone's sick and it's gonna be the last time they see them. Gosh, I'm getting emotional up here just even thinking about it. The people that are counting on you to get where they need to get to, that's the why of that we're doing this. So now we go back to what's our business objective for what we're working on today. I'm going to give your team an opportunity to pick something to do, and there's not a right, and I'll give you some ideas on it. But this is our quest today. It's called the Be Adventurous campaign. So we're going to do it for the end of the year. So we're going to roll this out as an end of the year campaign called Be Adventurous. And when you think about why you might add gamification into this travel arena, there's 3 ways we can look at it. The first one is compliance. You're the preferred vendor, and by golly, could they just buy the tickets through the preferred vendor? Wouldn't that make life easier? We are the preferred vendor. Let's do that. So you get travelers to use you, the preferred supplier. You could also gamify something just to get some social network going. One of the big elements of gamification is the social aspect of it. If you think about a program like Weight Watchers, the reason that has been so successful is because there's a community there to support you. There's a community there that you meet every week, and you're weighing in and you're learning about health and eating better and exercise. And so historically, Weight Watchers has had a good percentage of people who are able to lose weight and keep it off, and then they go back if they don't, but it involves that social. So it might just be to talk and to get a network going. Or it might be something like an education approach. So you have a new nonstop flight to somewhere, or you're offering this new upgraded planes, or new service for certain level of flyers. And you just want the people that are in your client base to understand what that is. And we're going to gamify that. So these are just some ideas. You could go to try and motivate them to actually just use you. So it's a little bit more competitive. Feedback is just some conversation, some social going. And then education is you want to give them information. So what I want you to do is figure out why you are playing. And I wanted to give you about 5 minutes with your team to discuss that. Okay, 2 minutes. If you have your objective, captains, would you send somebody to the front of the room? If you have your objective, would you or send somebody up? You don't have to do anything like that. No, you're okay. I just want you to take a clean sheet, and I want you to put it on the wall. So grab a marker and a clean sheet, and close to where your team is. These will just stick to anything. And just write what your objective is up there, so we can start visualizing it, okay? So I think it'll write there. Maybe you'll look low, you can hang it this way. You can have this front corner if you want to move up to the front corner to work. You can just hang these right up on the wall and write with them. Okay, that's a good question though, thank you. So the question is, how far do you want us to go? And the objective we have up here is to improve compliance. It's okay. I mean, we can start there. We'll just need to come in. Right now we're like this. If you were asking, I'd say we're like this, and what we want to be is like this. But we can start there, but we're going to have to actually get to here. But we can, over the next 4 levels, if we're not here, we'll come back and get there. Okay, what did you have? Okay, that's good. We can start. How about back here? Education, good. Education, here. Education. Education. Okay. I have no idea what the last part was, but I understand the first part. So good. Compliance. That's good. Okay. Good. All right. So that's good. You can go ahead and sit down. We have a ton of clean sheets up here. It helps when you're being creative. I mean, these would actually be better if we did have like the Crayola crayons, because you know that it actually releases that dopamine in your brain when you smell. There's a study that showed that blood pressure goes down by 10 points when you smell a crayon. Isn't that the coolest thing? You can just keep it. So like if you're really stressed out when you're working, just keep some Crayolas. Get a hit once in a while. Yeah, I know. Brings your blood pressure down by 10 points. It's so simple. Isn't that cool? But it helps us to be able to see it and visualize it. So if you need more clean sheets, just come up and grab them. And you can grab, if you want to use different colors, grab different markers. We will not run out of clean sheets. So use as many as you need. For each of the levels that we do, I want us to explore gamification and how cool it is. And wow, this is a lot of fun. I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. I also want us to understand that at each level there are dangers. Just like in the city, there are dangers that we need to be aware of. Don't walk in fear, but be aware of your surroundings when you're in the city. When you're thinking about this first level of what your business objectives are, on the front of your Urban Explorer card, there's a little box here that's designed for you to put the dangers. These are the dangers that you'll encounter in the city, or you may use the back of your card to take the notes. But I do want us to write these down. The first one is you cannot fix a broken product or service with gamification. If your product or service sucks, you're not going to be able to fix it with this. Sorry. Right? Think about some place that you won't go back to, even though it would be pretty convenient for you just because of the service. And they might even have some kind of cool loyalty program, but you're like, yeah, but their service is just terrible. I had a company, it's a restaurant chain in South Africa that through a colleague, they had approached us about improving their loyalty program because they weren't getting the results from the loyalty program they were looking for. And so we were like, well, we can look at that. That's a great idea. Loyalty and gamification goes excellent together. But then I start digging in, I start interviewing, which is always where we start in designing gamification, is interviewing who are the players, and come to find out that their reviews are terrible. No one who goes there likes it at all. I mean, the food's bad, the service is awful, you gotta wait an hour for a drink. I mean, nothing about the restaurant is getting any kind of good reviews. I don't care what we do with the loyalty program. It's not gonna change that. It's broken. The first thing they got to do is fix this. Their loyalty program might be the best ever written. It could have been the best thing ever, but if this is broken, the loyalty program won't work. So gamification can't fix something that's broken. That's one of those things that when we look at gamification, people think, well, if we just make it more fun, it'll be okay. The other thing is, we talked about this already, know where you're going, start your journey with your objective. What is it we're going to work on here? And then the last one is, don't forget to focus on the players. Ask what's in it for them. For you, it's about your sales numbers, your profitability, your job. For your players, it's not. And what we have are what are called valuable and valued behaviors. So valuable are what your players are already doing, and we'll come back to this. Valued is what you want them to do. Hopefully you can get those two to line up. But if what you're doing doesn't have value to your players, it'll be really tough to get them involved in your gamification. So we want to always focus on the players and think about what's in it for them. Why would they want to play with us? All right, good? Any questions so far before I go on? Gamification is really the icing on the cake. if you have a cake that tastes really badly and put good icing on there and it looks real pretty, people will take a bite or two, but then they're gonna think, terrible. And has that happened? And you think, and now you're eating it to just be polite? Is that what happens? Yeah. Oh man, that's terrible. And then you might even get the backlash from it, because now they're going to feel somewhat even manipulated, like, oh, well, you made it look real pretty, but really it wasn't. When I have my little brother, he always called the cake crust. And when he didn't like the crust. I don't like the crust. I just like the icing. Well, for a lot of our players, they feel the same way about what we're trying to serve them. I like the icing part, but I don't like the cake you're serving me. So it should be the icing on the cake that's good to make it all that much better.